ايش فضل قد 4 شهور كمان.
والآن كلمة الختام ويلقيها رئيس بعثة الصليب الأحمر الدولي السيد فبريزيو كاربوني.
Mr. President of the Bar Association, esteemed family of missing persons, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great honor for me to receive, on behalf of the Icrc, the investigation report of the Commission on Missing that was established in the year 2000. I would like to thank the Committee of the Families and the Kidnapped and the Missing and Solid for their trust in our institution, and more particularly for their lifelong action and their dedication to the missing and their family in this country. Your activism and energy, dear Hazi, dear Walad, is an achievement on itself, and today we are humbled by your tireless work and achievements in support of all those persons and lives that have been torn apart by the loss of a loved one. I would like also to thank the President of the Bar Association, Mr. Georges, for accepting to hold this event in this magnificent theatre. We are fully aware of the importance of our responsibility in the examination of those documents, and I hope that it will further facilitate our work in support of the right to know of families of missing persons, with the sole objective to help bring answers to grief-stricken families. The Icrc is present in Lebanon since 1967. We have always accompanied the Lebanese people during the bad and the good times of recent history. During the terrible years of the civil war, families came to our offices across Lebanon to register their loved one as disappeared. They didn't just register, but they also shared with us their suffering, their despair, and their hope that one day their loved one will come back home. Our role, as accepted by most of the states around the world, is to intervene with parties to the conflict to obtain information on persons who have gone missing. Sometimes our action had a positive outcome, but in many other cases, after a week, a year, and finally 30 years, we haven't been able to provide any news about the disappeared. Today, a lot of persons are still missing, and too many families, too many Lebanese families, are waiting and suffering in silence. This tragic situation afflicted thousands of families all over the country and around the world. It creates a never-ending and unbearable suffering that they have to endure day after day. A missing person can be at the same time a father or mother, a son or a daughter, a husband or a wife, a brother or a sister. The impact of the disappearance of a loved one is devastating. It affects the whole family and is passed from generation to generation. As many of you told us, only finding what happened will alleviate your pain. It's often underestimated or ignored, but the missing person can also have dramatic effects on the material conditions of their family. Many of these families are facing difficult financial situations. They cannot afford or hardly afford medical care. Sometimes they also face administrative hurdles. In the Icrc, we tried to address this issue and we launched a project in SIDA. We want to accompany families in this district with the collaboration of local and international NGOs. We will start in January, and we hope that in the future years we can extend this to other districts. 20 years have passed since the end of the conflict, and yet Lebanon has not provided any answer to the families of the missing, leaving them isolated and in great pain. In the absence of a national institution in charge of this file, and seeing that no action was taken, the Icrc considers that it has a moral engagement towards the family of the missing, and that it had to act. In 2012, the Icrc decided to launch a national project for the collection of information on the missing through their family members. My colleagues interviewed more than 1,700 families of missing, who shared with us all available information on their loved ones before their disappearance. I would like to take this opportunity to thank all families for your cooperation and for your warm welcome you offer to our staff in your home, from Akka to Tyr, from Baalbek, from Bekaa to the mountains. It has been a privilege for us to meet hundreds of you all over the country over the past 2 years. It was a very humbling experience for us. We have been deeply moved by your suffering and impressed by your courage. You have given us even more motivation and strength to achieve our mission. In line with international practices, the information that we are collecting from families will be handed over to a future national independent institution with the mandate to give answer to the families of the missing. It is the opinion of the Icrc that such an institution should be established as soon as possible by the Lebanese parliament through a law on the missing, as it is commonly the case in other countries in a similar situation. Currently, a draft law is in discussion, and I would like to seize this opportunity to encourage all the political parties to support the law when it will be presented to them during the next parliamentary session. The second phase of the Icrc project for the missing is to collect the DNA samples from the families of the missing we interviewed. Officer of the Forensic Department of ISAF will collect DNA samples with Icrc technical support. For each case, 2 samples will be taken. One will be stored with the ISAF at the ISAF headquarters, and the second one at our Icrc headquarters in Geneva. During the preparation phase of this project, we enjoy an excellent cooperation with the ISAF, and I would like to thank them for their support. The Icrc collection of DNA sample is ready. The Icrc is ready. But due to the complex political situation in the country in the last couple of years, it has not been approved yet. However, the feedback of the government is encouraging. In order to facilitate its rapid approval by the Lebanese authorities, we prepared recently a new simplified version of the agreement to be shared with the Minister of Interior in the coming days. Furthermore, the President of the Icrc, Peter Moha, will visit the country in January. He will directly present the project to the Prime Minister. We remain hopeful and confident that the proposal will be quickly approved in order to start the project beginning of 2015. Ladies and gentlemen, the time is neither on our side nor the side of the families. The majority of the missing of the civil war were young boys in their 20s. They were the sons of Lebanon. Today, their parents are in their 70s, and in some instances are not among us anymore. It is heartbreaking to listen to the sister of the missing telling us that her mother, on a deathbed, told her, "Knock on my grave when you have news about your brother." It's an emergency, entire generation need to know before it's too late. Based on our international experience, we are deeply convinced that what was possible in other countries can be also done in Lebanon. In Yugoslavia, during the civil war in the 90s, 30,000 people disappeared. And families of 20,000 people have news today. I would like to conclude by saying that the example of other countries, Bosnia, Kosovo, Georgia, Nepal, show that addressing the fate of the missing and giving answer to their families is also the best way forward in the process of the national reconciliation. It can also help avoid any possible repetition of this terrible drama in the future. The missing are not a threat from the past to the present. They are rather a wound in the face of a nation that needs to be healed. Before coming here this morning, there was an old lady waiting for me just outside my office. Obviously, she thought that the ceremony would take place at the Icrc office. And we went in the same car and she explained me a bit her situation. And this lady has lost her 4 sons. And she was telling me that every day she was still hoping that we would knock at the door. When I was in the car, I couldn't look at her because I was really overwhelmed by feelings and by this situation. But today, now, Ms. Khalia, I want to tell you, to you and all the families of the missing and the people of Lebanon, that the Icrc stays committed, and we would like to do, and we will do, all what we can to make sure that you have one day answers. Thank you very much.